to unlearn unhealthy patterns, to set, communicate, and keep their boundaries, to live with passion on purpose, and to create goals with the intention of putting them into action. Once you pick up your own copy along with the companion workbook, you'll be one step closer to being fully equipped, empowered, and enlightened on your path to be yourself for yourself. If you're ready to plant powerful and intentional roots to live it up, love it up, and let it go, visit GetRootedRadio.com.
Are you ready to break free from self-sabotaging patterns and reclaim your power? I'm Beck Nelson, licensed therapist, spiritual mentor, and psychic medium, helping individuals achieve true personal liberation through my Beckology framework. This step-by-step system shifts your mindset, strengthens your intuition, and empowers lasting change. Work with me through single sessions, 90-day or 6-month programs.
You've been listening to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Chris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Welcome to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Chris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. What does finding health look like for you? Do you have a vision for your future self and a way to get there? I'm Dr. Chris, and after 33 years in functional medicine and a lifelong journey through brain health, weight loss, hormones, mindset, and faith, I know that real transformation doesn't come from willpower or white-knuckling your way to wellness. It comes from gratitude, honoring your body as the temple that God created. This show is about body stewardship, not shame. It's about rewiring your mindset, your metabolism, and your spirit to find lasting health without the grind. I'll help you cut through the noise, see opportunities instead of obstacles, and finally live the healthy, purposeful life you were created for. Let's spark faith and transformation together. Spark Faith starts now. Hey everyone. I am Dr. Chris Sargent, and this is the Spark Faith Show. This is going to be such a fun episode, y'all, because I am here to tell you that multitasking is a myth, and I am going to explain why that is so today. So put your seatbelts on because your brain needs to work. And if it's already tired because you've had a long day, then this is the time to find yourself a cup of like nice chamomile or peppermint tea and sit down and chill. And then you can understand why multitasking is a huge myth, because your brain is an energy hog. And multitasking actually just makes the whole thing way worse. And y'all, mental fatigue is real, right? And it is also physiologically real. So this is the cool part, because y'all know, like, I'm all about, hey, let's be real, right? But the brain is also one of the most energy demanding organs in the body. And so when we are multitasking all the time, it drains the energy far faster than most of us realize, right? It's almost like having a million apps open on your computer without it being plugged in, or too many apps open on your phone, right? It just sucks the energy right out of you, right? Like it sucks the energy out of the phone or your computer. It's the same thing with your brain. It's literally no different whatsoever. So if you've ever had one of those days that you didn't really do anything physical, right? But by like maybe noon or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, maybe 2, right? You just feel completely exhausted. You didn't work out. You didn't run a marathon, right? And I'm hearing all of my productive, achievement-oriented people going, oh, I hate those days, because you couldn't check a box necessarily, right? You didn't do anything really hard physically, but your brain actually never stopped working. And maybe you're not giving yourself credit for that, right? But let's just say this is a day where maybe you're working from home and one of your kids is sick, and then the dog threw up on the rug, or the sick kid, right? Gross. And you're trying to just get some emails done and some texts done. And then the doorbell rings and you're trying to plan dinner and remember appointments and switching from task to task to task. And then you're trying to think about what did you forget at the same time. You're replaying conversations. I'm tired just talking about it all, right? By the end of the day, you're not just tired, you are done. Done. I get it. It comes off my tongue so easily, right? Because I have said it so many times. Y'all, I just moved my house and moving day, I was done. And my brain was actually done the next day too. Definitely had to have a physical, mental recovery day. Yeah, a whole day, y'all, that I could just do some resting. And that didn't mean I didn't do anything. It just meant that I really slowed down. And so here's what some of y'all don't really realize, that exhaustion is not just in your head, right? It's coming from your head, right? Because your brain, being one of the most energy demanding organs in the body, really requires a constant influx of energy in the form of glucose. And that does not mean you go and eat a Snickers bar, right? That's not what I'm talking about. We're going to talk about that in a minute. But the way most of us are using our brain, especially with constant multitasking, is draining your energy all day long, more than it needs to, right? We need to close down some apps to allow the RAM, right? Rapid access memory, the RAM of our computer to work faster. And that is exactly what we need to do with our brains. We need to start closing down and saying no to some things so that our brains can catch up with what's actually happening. And yes, I know, I can hear y'all go like, I know, I need to plan my time better. This is not about shaming you into planning your time better. Not at all. Do you need to sit and plan things better? That's a possibility. But I am not shaming you for not doing more or being more, right? That's not what this is about. This is about just like, hey, I want you to be aware that this is happening. Then you can look down the road and say, okay, I'm going to take a day where I can like really look at everything that I'm trying to do and kind of reorganize, reflip, say no, call some people, like ask for help. Oh, that ask for help thing. So here's the deal. Like, here's what's really happening. Your brain uses about 20% of your total energy at rest. At rest. 20% of your energy at rest. So even when you're sitting still, your brain is still consuming glucose. It's still consuming oxygen and nutrients at a very, very high rate. You're like, why? Because it is constantly processing information, right? It is making decisions. It is regulating emotions. It is managing your memory. It is coordinating your entire body, including your autonomic nervous system, also known as, in my world, the automatic nervous system, right? It takes care of your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your eyes blinking, right? Your digestion, like all of those pieces and parts run in the background. These are all apps that are already open and running, and your brain is working on all of those things in addition to whatever you're actually conscious of happening in your world. So, like I said, this is like a high performance computer. And part of that computer is always running in the background, right? This is not just one tab open, right? This is 25 tabs opening, and 5 of them are kind of buffering, right? Like they're trying to load, right? And someplace in the background, there's music, right? You got some song playing in your head, right? But that's how most of us function all day. And now let's layer in some multitasking, because here's the key. The brain itself can't really multitask in the conscious world. It's multitasking in the background, like you're digesting and your heart's beating and your lungs are breathing and your eyes are blinking. But actually, as we shift and switch between tasks, that requires the brain extra energy to do that. Okay. So every time you switch, it requires more glucose, it requires more oxygen, it requires more neurotransmitter activity. And so what you think is efficient is actually just repeated energy expenditure. It can actually take you up to 25 minutes. Once you get up from your desk to go open the door, let the dog out, and come back, it can take you up to 25 minutes for your brain to actually kick in and figure out what you were doing before. So multitasking really isn't efficient, right? It's metabolically expensive. And over time, that constant switching drains your available energy in your brain and your whole body, actually, because it's going to take from somewhere, right? And especially if you're under eating and overtraining, like you just don't have any energy to give your brain. So it's a big deal. And here's the science. But mental work is biological work, right? Your brain really relies heavily on that glucose, oxygen, and a bunch of micronutrients for neurotransmitter production. The neurotransmitters are the chemicals that allow your brain cells to talk to each other and to talk to other parts of the body. And when your demand increases, your brain pulls more resources, right? Research actually shows that cognitive load, your thinking load, increases utilization in the brain, and especially our prefrontal cortex. This is where decision making happens. This is where focus happens. This is where self-control happens. And so if you're finding like you just have like, I can't make another decision. Why is this simple thing like, what am I going to make for dinner so difficult? Why am I not focusing on this book that I'm reading? Why doesn't any of this information go in my brain, right? Why did I fly off the handle for something so silly yesterday? Well, this is why. Decision fatigue is real, right? Focus gets a lot harder as the day goes on. And ultimately, you may feel more overwhelmed and out of control in the evenings. So, like, I hear this all the time, like, I don't understand why I'm so tired. I didn't really do anything today. But with a client, when I walk through their day, like, I realize like their brain never stopped working. Think about the scenario that I read off at the beginning, right? The dog and the kids and the doorbell and the emails and the texts and the planning dinner and all the things, right? Constant input, constant switching, constant micro decisions. It's like revving your car engine all day in short little bursts instead of just like cruising steadily, right? You stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start. You burn a lot more fuel, like in-town driving versus highway driving, right? And we're doing in-town driving all day long. Our fuel economy is just not there. It's not as good. And you're not going to get as far on one tank of gas, right? So why does it get worse after 40? And we have talked about these things in previous episodes, so please go and listen to some of those episodes. But over 40, you know that there are hormonal shifts, right? Because estrogen plays a role in glucose metabolism, brain energy utilization, neurotransmitter balance from stress or lack of stress, right? So as estrogen declines, brain energy efficiency also can decrease. Doesn't have to, but it can. Mitochondrial function. I just did an entire episode on mitochondria. So you may want to go and listen to that because mitochondria are the little cellular energy producers. Think about like they're rechargeable batteries inside your cells, right? But with age and stress, which we have talked about endlessly, mitochondrial efficiency can decline, right? Oxidative stress increases. That's a big word for oxidation or rusting in your brain, right? This is why we eat berries, because they have antioxidants. They help to protect us from oxidation. And energy production can become less efficient if we're not cognizant of what we're doing or not doing, right? we have an increased cognitive load as we age. It just happens, right? Us women, particularly midlife women, we're managing careers, we're managing households. Some of us have kids at home, and we're managing our aging parents, new relationships, right? Either girlfriends or our potential spouses, right? Health concerns are popping up. And so that's not just emotional weight, it's a metabolic demand on your brain. We also experience a lot of nutrient depletion. Some common deficiencies that really impact the brain are your B complex vitamins. And I don't just mean, oh, I take B6 or I take B12. I mean all of them. The whole B complex of vitamins, right? There's a bunch of them. Magnesium, important for your brain to clear stuff out overnight. And for the synapses, the little parts that go together, for them to actually work properly. And iron, for you ladies who are still, having your cycles, if you're not taking iron, you probably need to. I'm not saying that without labs, but you may need to. So the brain literally cannot produce energy efficiently if it doesn't have the key nutrients it requires, right? So you're not just doing more, you're doing it with a system that has a super tight budget. So how can you do that, right? It's not possible in our body. And so what are some things that can help? Right? I want to give you some things that you can take home and actually, you can do starting today. Simple stuff, right? Reduce your task switching. Not perfect, right? Just be aware and start batching similar tasks. If you've got 2 or 3 things to do in the kitchen, finish the kitchen first, right? Finish the work stuff first. Create like focused blocks that you do this, then this, then this. Do your best. I know when kids are home, it's harder to limit the interruptions. Close your door, lock it if you have to. But less switching is going to equal less brain drain, right? And less energy drain. Externalize your brain. I meant to grab my planner, but I actually have an old-fashioned planner that I have a pencil so we can change things, right? And I write things down. I also use my phone for things that I don't want to forget and for my calendar and for certain lists, right? Use your reminders on your phone. Don't ignore them, right? Because immediately that takes the pressure off if you know that something is already here and it will send you a reminder. Build some really simple rhythms, like reducing decision fatigue. Have the same breakfast. I know it's boring. Have the same lunch. I know it can be boring, but that reduces the amount of decisions that you have to make. And you can stay on plan, whatever your plan is. You can stay on your plan better if you can figure out 2 or 3 really easy things that you can just constantly remake. Then you don't have to worry about how it goes into MyFitnessPal or how it fits your macros or any of those things, because you already have them planned out ahead of time, right? Consistent workout times. Well, today I'm doing this and I got to do that and then I'll work out, blah, blah, blah. No, keep your workout time very consistent. And then structure your work blocks as much as possible. Fewer decisions means you're going to have more energy availability for your brain. And then make sure that you support your brain nutritionally. We have to have protein to make adequate neurotransmitters, right? We have to have a stable blood sugar. I know, I beat that dead horse every day. We have to have B complex vitamins. We have to have magnesium. You have to have fish oil. The brain cannot run without those raw materials. It's like not putting gas in your car and expecting to get across town. Move your body. Blood flow to the brain improves with movement. I know, right? We can deliver our oxygen better, our mitochondria function better. Even a short walk around the block, around your house, around your apartment building, up and down a couple flights of stairs, anything can reset your mental fatigue because you've got some extra brain power in there, right? You get some extra blood in there. So here's the thing, energy will improve when your brain doesn't have to constantly switch and solve and carry everything all at once. So let's think about the stewardship piece of this, right? What we eat and how we exercise, right? That's stewardship, how we're taking care of our body out of a place of gratitude, not shame, not guilt. But it also includes how we use our attention and how we spend our mental energy, right? And Isaiah 40:29 says, he gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Your body and your brain were not designed for constant fragmentation. They just weren't. We are not here to be constantly fragmented. There is a rhythm to how we are created to live. And we talked a little bit about this in my last podcast, right? We talked quite a bit about it in the last regulation podcast. That was last week. But like, we're created for focus. We're created for rest and downtime. We're called to rest at least one day a week. We're called to renewal. And I know y'all are sitting there going, where am I ever going to find time for rest when I have so many things going on? And I just want to back up a little bit and let's think about how we can reduce our task switching, right? How do we do that? Like batching similar tasks. How do we do that? Well, I need to clean the kitchen. I need to put the dishes in the dishwasher. I need to find all the dishes in the house. So what if we found all the dishes in the house first? Because I don't know about you, but my kids don't always bring them out of their rooms. That's a whole other podcast. And if you would have any suggestions, I would love that, because I can't always figure that out either. But anyway, go gather up all the dishes before you load the dishwasher and turn it on. And then you go up to your daughter's room or your son's room and you're like, there's a whole bunch of dishes there, right? So figure out logical ways to do things in your house so that it doesn't take up so much brain space. Create focus blocks of time where you have these rhythms already in your morning, right? That's where your planner can really help you. And whether it's an electronic planner or like I use Passion Planner. No, I don't get paid by them. I've used it for years. I like their system and it's pretty for any of y'all who care about that. But that can really help. And you start writing down all the things you're doing and you realize how much you're like all over the place, right? So then like to batch stuff like, okay, I'm going to sit down. I'm going to answer all the emails I can answer in half an hour, right? So you spend that half an hour and that's the only thing you do. And then you move on to whatever your next task is. If you haven't finished all your emails, set up another time later on that you can do that. But then you can take a break from that and that also helps, right? Or if you have an hour that you need to email, whatever those time fragments are, I don't know for you because it's different for everybody, but you can figure those things out. You're more than capable. So remember to externalize your brain, like have a notepad by your bed so that if you think of something in the middle of the night, you're not like laying there awake, you can just write it down and go back to sleep, right? That's going to help reduce your cognitive load. Find those simple rhythms again. Like I am all about batch cooking and eating the same things that are easy, right? Food is fuel. And yes, it can be pleasurable. That doesn't mean you have to eat plain. It just means that you have a consistency that allows you to have 15 or 20 things that you make for your family all the time. Yes, you can try some new recipes when you have time. However, in the day to day, maybe you just need to make some things that are consistent for you so you don't have to make so many decisions around that. And that really, really helps. And I am all about the B complex vitamins for several reasons. It also improves your mood. It improves your mitochondria, right? And it improves movement. When you have the right magnesium and the right electrolytes going, you won't feel so stiff. So, excuse me. So just those are some of the things that we can do for ourselves, and you have control over those things. And that is how you can have more focus, have more time for rest, because you can build it in. Build in a 5-minute walk. You really will get more done when you take those breaks. I know you say that to yourself, and maybe even your boss has told you that, but you really will get more done when you take a brain break. Not a break to go do something else, like multitasking, not like that, but to just like, whew, I need some fresh air kind of thing. Take a minute, walk around your desk, even if that's all you do, and sit back down. Do some chair stretching. There's lots of videos about stretching in your chair. Any of those things can help like reset your mental load and improve your oxygen and your nutrients, nutrient availability for your brain. All right. So this is feedback, right? This is not failure. And if your mind feels tired, remember that's feedback. Also, it's an invitation to move away from chaos and toward steadiness, right? And this is where grace is going to meet you, right? So if you've been feeling exhausted, overwhelmed, mentally drained, I want you to hear this. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. Your brain has been working really hard all day long. And that's frankly the way most of us are living. Constant input, constant switching, constant demand is quietly draining your energy. But here's the good news. We can change it. It is changeable. And when you reduce the load, support the system, and build some better rhythms, your energy will begin to return. And it doesn't take that long. But if you're under eating and overtraining, that is just going to put another stressor on your brain. So it's exactly what we're going to be doing inside of Living Fresh Collective. No extremes, no pressure. We're just going to start learning from how our body was designed to function. All right. And align your life with that design, not pushing against the way we were designed. So, y'all know I love you. There is no shame. There is no guilt here. This is just an awareness piece that your brain gets tired. And there are things that you can do for yourself to fix it, right? So take control of the things that you can in your life. And I will see you in the next episode. If you like the content, please subscribe. Send me a note on socials. I can't wait to hear from you. I love hearing from you because I can then produce different episodes that you want to hear about. I love questions. So I'm just here helping you renew your health, rooted in truth and restored by grace. I love you guys. Bye-bye. You've been listening to Spark Faith with me, Dr. Chris Sargent. This show is about renewed health, rooted in truth, and restored by grace. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Pacific on the Transformation Talk Radio for more simple, faith-fueled steps to live the vision God placed in your heart. Are you ready to take the next step? Schedule a discovery call or connect with me at drchrissargent.com. That's DRKRIS Sargent.com. While you're there, download my free ebook, Endless Energy, the 6 non-negotiable keys to endless energy, and sign up for an upcoming masterclass. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the show, and I'd love to connect with you on social media at Dr. Chris Sargent. Let's keep sparking faith and transformation together. Can't wait to see y'all next time.